Hey y'all, I wanted to talk about Grey Dawn. This was a game that came out back in 2018 and it's now been released for more modern platforms. I played it on the PlayStation 5. It was made by a Romanian developer and it's a narrative driven horror thriller experience. It's similar to games like Layers of Fear. If you like those kind of games where you're playing through a game and creepy stuff happens, but you don't have to run and hide every 5 seconds. There's no like stealth really to it. You're not fighting back or shooting anything. You're just going through the beats and emotions of the story. And that's the kind of horror that I like. I like the action ones too, but I'm not as big fan of stealth ones. So it's nice when you get this sort of game where I can just experience that atmosphere and learn what the story is. The game does an interesting job of varying things up in terms of environments. You have one main central environment. This area has a couple different locations to it. And then you'll be transported to another area that looks like you're in a fantasy game. Like you'll be thinking you're in Skyrim all of a sudden. And it's really strange because it's so drastically different than the main environment of the game. There's kind of sort of story reasons for that, but I like the drastic change and shift from one to the other. It's all first person based. So you do see kind of what the main character looks like on the loading screens, which, you know, graphically the character doesn't look like the best, but the actual game itself looks pretty solid for this kind of budget game. Like the environment looks pretty good. And as you're going through, you're picking up all these different objects and figuring out what they do. Sometimes the room will actually change while you're in it, sort of thing, depending on what you do, so it's kind of creepy there. I can't say whether the game ends in sunshines or rainbows, but it's just a dark story, and you know, you start the game being told that pretty much everybody hates this priest that you're playing, and like something happened, you don't know what happened. There's a couple little elements that'll enter in there that will enhance the game experience, the items that you use, not just to open doors and things, but to manipulate what might be going on in the environment. I don't want to delve into that too much more. So you could beat it in a sitting. I did. Took me like 4.5 to 5-ish hours to beat it. So with that kind of game too, I think it's best to play it all the way through at once. When a game that's like so narrative driven like that and just take you in a moment, especially with horror, a lot of the games are around that length, and there's a reason why. You know, it just kind of works to experience it all at once, then to play part of the way through and then dip back out and jump back in. It's not quite the same as like being fully ingrained and engrossed in what's happening as you're playing through it. It's worth your time in checking out if you like those kind of games, as I mentioned earlier. It's a good, fun time, and you can get it now on modern console, older console. It's pretty much everywhere if you want to check it out.